Welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Management Studies, SOMS, Certificate in Business Skills, CBS. PCO1 Preparatory Course in Commerce. Block 1 Basic Concepts of Accounting. Unit 1 Nature of Business, 1.2 Objectives. The study of this unit should help you to explain what a business activity is, classify business activities, identify different forms of business organization. 1.1 Introduction. This is an introductory unit for the preparatory course in commerce. This course essentially consists of accounting. In this unit, we intend to explain the nature of business activities and the various forms in which they can be organized. This serves as background for proper understanding of the need for accounting. 1.2 Nature of business. The basic cause of all productive activities is the unlimited wants of human beings and they need to satisfy them. Human wants are many and also complex in nature. Though the basic requirements of human beings are three ways: food, clothing and shelter, we are not satisfied with them alone. We are consuming or using many other things which have to be generally paid for. For example, take your own case. Try to recall your daily routine from the time you get up from bed till the time you go to bed. During this period, you consume or use many things: the toothpaste and soap you use, the bread you eat, the tea you use, the furniture, table, chair, etc. you use, the dress you wear, the television you see, are some of the examples. Have you ever thought of how these things are made available to you? Each one of them has a long process behind it. Take for example, a toilet soap. It is manufactured or produced by some company, say Tata Oil Mills Limited or Hindustan Lever Limited. They procure the oils, tits, etc., which are the basic raw materials bed in the soap. These raw materials are processed into soap cake with the help of men and machines. Then, these cakes are packed or wrapped in attractive printed paper. Though the soap is ready, it is not available to you at this stage because it is still in the factory. The soaps are shifted from the factory and stored in company's warehouse. The producer sells the soap to wholesalers who buy it in large quantities and move them to their places and keep them in their warehouses. The wholesale trader, in turn, sells in smaller quantities to the retail traders. The shop in your locality, from which you purchase your soap, is one such retail outlet. In simple terms, this is the story of your soap reaching you. The story is more or less the same in case of almost all the items we have listed in the beginning. The manufacturer produces goods for the consumer. Sometimes there may not be anybody between the two, but often the manufacturer may take the help of middlemen like the wholesalers and retailers to distribute the goods to the consumers. Chart 1.1 shows such arrangements. Look at the screen. Certain other agencies like banks, insurance companies, transportation firms, warehouses, advertising agencies, etc. also aid the functioning of manufacturers and traders. You will learn more about their activities later in this unit. You may be wondering why they are doing all this. You are right. That is their business. They are doing all this, or each one of them is doing his bit of activity with an intention or a motive. The intention is to earn something more than what they spend in carrying out the activity. That something more is profit. The intention is technically called profit motive. Therefore, any activity carried with profit motive is business. It may be a soap manufacturer or an aircraft manufacturer or a provision store or a pan shop or a cloth shop or a medical store or a hotel. They are all engaged in a business activity. In other words, the term business can be defined as the production of goods and services and all those activities that are involved the inflow of goods from the point of production to the point of consumption or final use with a view to earn profit. A person who is engaged in business is called a businessman or an entrepreneur, and a unit formed for the purpose of carrying on some business activity is called a business firm or a business enterprise. Generally, the business firm has a name such as Rekha Cloth Emporium or Sabariwala, while commerce is mainly concerned with their distribution. 1.3.1 Industry. The term industry refers to that part of the business activity which is concerned with a. Extracting materials like coal, iron ore, petroleum, called extractive industry. B. processing and converting raw materials into finished products like soap, bread, fans. Machines, cement, called the manufacturing industry, and C. Construction activity like buildings, dams, bridges, roads, called construction industry. Thus, the activities of human beings engaged in extraction, production, processing, construction and fabrication of goods come under industry. In another sense, industry means a group of factories usually specializing in a particular product line. For example, all those factories which produce cotton textiles together constitute cotton textile industry. All the cement factories together constitute cement industry. K. 3.2 Commerce. While industry is concerned with the production of goods, commerce is concerned with making IHE same available to those who need them. In other words, commerce is mainly concerned with distribution of goods. It embraces all those functions which are essential for maintaining a free and uninterrupted flow of goods. Therefore, the term commerce includes trade and aids to trade. Trade. The term trade is used to denote buying and selling. Therefore, one who buys and sells is a trader. A trader is a middleman between the producer and the consumer. Trade may be wholesale trade or retail trade. A wholesale trader purchases in large quantities from the producers and sells in small quantities to the retail traders. A retail trader is one who purchases from the wholesale trader or sometimes directly from the producer and sells in smaller quantities to the ultimate consumers. Aids to trade. All activities that facilitate smooth flow of goods from manufacturing centers to the consumption centers are called aids or auxiliaries to trade. Aids to trade may be classified into 5 categories: I. Transportation, E. Warehousing, E. Insurance, IV. Advertising, and V. Banking. These are briefly explained below. Transportation, selling all the goods produced at or near the production centers is not possible. Hence, goods are to be sent to different places where they are demanded. The medium which moves men and materials from one place to another is called transport. Transport can be of 3 types. I. Land transport, road, rail. E. Air transport, aeroplane. E. Water transport, boat, ship. Warehousing, storage is indispensable in these days of mass production. The goods should be stored carefully from the time they are produced till the time they are sold. Hence, the need for warehousing. Warehouses are also called godowns. Insurance, the goods may be destroyed while in production process or in transit due to accidents, or in storage due to fire or theft, etc. The businessman would like to cover these risks. Insurance companies come to their rescue in this regard. They undertake to compensate the loss suffered due to such risks. For this purpose, the business has to take an insurance policy and pay a certain amount regularly, called premium. Advertising. Advertising is an effective aid in selling the goods. The producer, through advertisement, communicates all information about his goods to the prospective consumers and create in them a strong desire to buy the product. Advertising can be carried in different ways. It can be indoor or outdoor. Communicating with people through advertising, when they are in their homes, is called indoor advertising. Examples of this type are advertising through newspapers, radio, television, etc. Communicating with people when they go out from their homes is called outdoor advertising. Examples of this type are advertisements in cinema theater, wall posters, and hoardings at prominent places. Banking. Nowadays we cannot think of business without banks. To start the business or to run it smoothly we require money. Banks supply money. A bank is an organization which accepts deposits of money from the public, withdrawable on demand or otherwise, and lends the same to those who need it. Banks also provide many services required for the business activity. Here, we have attempted to give just an overview of various business activities. You will learn nature or business. More about these in a separate course on business organization. Chart 1. 2 indicates various business activities in a summarized form. Chart 1.2. Look at the screen. 1.4 Forms of business organization. You have learned that business is of many types. It may be an industrial activity, a trading activity, a transport activity or a banking activity. Whatever be the nature of business activity, money is required to start it and also to maintain it. First of all, you need a place to work or to carry out the activity. Then you need men and material. Let us take the case of a retail cloth shop. You need a place to locate the shop. You can hire it by paying rent. You need showcases or shelves where cloth can be displayed. Then you have to purchase the cloth, either from the wholesaler or directly from the manufacturer. You also need salesmen to sell the cloth to customers entering into your shop. All these things require money, and somebody has to provide it. One who provides this amount initially is the one who would normally own the business, and as such is called the owner. The amount contributed by the owner is called ownership capital or simply capital. The owner, besides providing capital, bears the risk of the business. Though the aim of the business is to make profit, there is no guarantee that the business always makes profit. Sometimes, it may incur loss. The possibility of incurring loss is called risk. He also has the right to organize his business and run it the way he likes it. Business may be owned by an individual as sole proprietor or by a group of persons as a partnership firm or as a company. Partnership firm is formed by a group of 2 or more persons by mutual agreement, whereas a company is formed by a group of persons under the Companies Act. From this it is clear that sole proprietorship organization is owned by one person, whereas a partnership firm or a company is owned by a group of persons. Thus, the main forms of business organization or ownerships are 1. Sole proprietorship, 2. Partnership firm, 3. Company. Let us now briefly discuss these organizations. 1.4.1 Sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship form of organization is the oldest, and even today, the most common form of organization for small business. As the name implies, it is owned by one person. That is why it is also called individual proprietorship or sole trader organization. He supplies the capital required for the business. If necessary, he borrows funds from his friends, relatives and banks. He manages the business himself or may take the help of his family members. If necessary, he may employ people to assist him. He enjoys all the profits earned by the business. In case of loss, naturally, he alone has to bear it. 1.4.2 Partnership. When the business grows in size, it needs more capital. If the sole proprietor is not in a position to supply all the capital required, he may admit one or more persons as partners into his business. Sometimes, 2 or more persons come together, combine their capital and skills, and carry on business as partners. A partnership etches the relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business, carried on by all or any of them acting for all. From the above definition, it can be observed that partnership is formed by an agreement. In the agreement, all the issues relevant to the partnership are written. The issues are name of the business, duration of partnership, proportion in which capital is to be contributed by the partners, proportion in which profits or losses are to be shared by the partners, persons who have to manage the business, and so on. The persons who own the partnership business are individually called partners and collectively known as firm or partnership firm. The name under which their business is carried on is called firm name. In partnership, there should be at least 2 persons and the number of partners should not exceed 20. However, in case of banking business, the number of partners should not exceed 10. 1.4.3 Company. When THC business requires capital on a large scale, say in lakhs or crores of rupees, a sole proprietor or a few partners may not be able to provide the entire capital. Even if they are able to, somehow, provide it, the risk involved is great. Generally, therefore, when the funds required for the business are large, company form of business organization is preferred. For a large-sized business, it is a convenient form of business organization. A company is an association of persons who contribute money or money's worth to a common stock, called capital, and employ it for a common purpose. The persons who contribute it or to whom it belongs are called members or shareholders. A company has to be registered under the Indian Companies Act, 1956, and function within the framework of the Companies Act. Since there is a large number of shareholders, the company cannot be managed by all the shareholders. The shareholders elect their representatives, called the directors. They guide and direct the destiny of the company. Generally, the day-to-day conduct of business is entrusted to paid or salaried managers. Companies can be classified in many ways. One way of classifying them is private limited companies and public limited companies. In case of a private limited company, the minimum number of shareholders is 2 and maximum is 50, whereas in case of public limited company, the minimum number of shareholders is 7 and there is no maximum limit. In case of private limited companies, the word private or private must be used along with their names. Examples of private limited companies are Rafco Ismatic Company Private Limited, Diners Business Services Private Limited, Eagle Flask Private Limited, ABC Consultants Private Limited. Examples of public limited companies are Crompton Greaves Limited, Graver. It is also necessary that the money received and the money spent is properly accounted for, so that profit or loss can be duly ascertained. Hence, the need for accounting. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.